100 degrees or more today. For those of you who do not know me, I do the virtual paint parties once a week. People come up, curbside, pick up their materials, and they meet me on Facebook Live to paint. And here we are. So, again, thank you so much. Everybody that pulled up got their materials in this little baggie here. This bag can be used to protect your table from the paint or the floor. We're painting with acrylic paints today, so you don't want to get them on your clothes or on the carpet. It'd be kind of hard to get out, okay? They got a tray full of all the paints, and you want to take the tape and all the lids off your paint, and your little cup of water. You want to fill that cup about halfway full of water. Some of you guys got disposable backs on your easels, and if you got a disposable back in your easel, they fold like this, and they're already attached to your canvas. You're going to put both the ends up like that. You're going to put this flat down like that, and the canvas is going to stand flat on your table, okay? So if you don't get that, I'm sorry. It's really not that hard. So it's like this. You take that flap and you put it down. It looks like that on the back of the easel, and your easel will stand up on your table, okay? So I am unwrapping all my paints here. Hope you got your music right, because you guys know I always get in trouble for my music, so I'm not playing that much music today. I'm taking all the lids off my paint. And you got your reference photo, which I have my reference photo up there. It's for all you OCD people that are going to be absolutely obsessed with making this painting look exactly perfect, okay? And that is not the objective. The objective is for you to have fun, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. Have fun. I'm going to raise this up a little bit. This was part of our problem today, is that we couldn't get our camera, my camera stand kind of fell apart. So that's why I'm trying to make sure that you can see good. I think this is a better shot. All right, I know I got a lot of ceiling in the picture, so I apologize for that. This is much better because I want you to see the painting, not so much me. Okay, all right. So I am the shoe chick, and the reason why I'm called the shoe chick is because when you paint with me, kids in Africa get shoes. And there's a bigger story behind that, but you got to go to my website, theshoechickstore.com, and you can read more about me, okay? So, you got your cup full of water, you got your drink. I am having Coppola Chardonnay. For those of you who know me, you know I love Chardonnay. So, I usually sample a bottle, a glass, each time in my favorite wine glass. So, it said fruity and it said oaky, and those are like my favorite characteristics in Chardonnay. So let's see how this is. I was like, wait, what do we got? Like just a few painters. I had a lot of painters this weekend. It's been a rough week, so I'm glad you're painting with me. Ooh, I smell the oak in this one for sure. Couple of Chardonnay. Not too bad. Not too bad. I don't know if I'll let you know how I feel about it as we go on. What I want you to do is reach inside your little pack of tools here. You got a wonderful flyer that talks about my YouTube channel, Angelique Paints. My wonderful co-host here is Miss Liza May. Hi, say hi, Liza. Liza will be reading your comments and questions because I don't have my glasses on and she can see better than me. You have 3 paint brushes today. One's for the fine lines that are like around her eye that we're going to do and her eyelashes. Then we have a sponge brush, which I typically do not paint with. We're going to use that for coverage because we're going to do all the blue in that. But if you're going to paint with me on a regular basis, I really highly recommend investing in some paint brushes, okay? But we're going to use the sponge brush for coverage. Then you have a blue paper towel, highly absorbent paper towel for when we're changing colors. There's a fun little sucker in there just because sugary treats make us happy, and I want you to be happy. And we have an apron. So the apron in there fully opens up and goes over your head, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sponge brush, as you all know, and I am going to first switch these paintings around so that you can see. I have the same exact tools as you do. I'm going to take you about 90% through this painting, and then you're going to do the 10% by yourself. Did y'all see that? I just hit myself in the head. love Facebook Live because you never know what's going to happen. Let me tell you, it's a long, fun day today. Crazy week though, right? We're not even going to talk about how crazy the week is because this is the time you're supposed to relax and have a good time, okay? So, sponge brush, water. I'm dipping in the water, and I'm going to put a light coat of water on my canvas. I'm not afraid of washing off my trace marks because that's not going to happen. And I'm just going to put a light coat of water, activating the canvas so that it is ready to accept paint, okay? I'm going to see if I can find me a little, like, canvas music here. You know I got to be careful, right?
Alicia says that she's here.
Hi.
Leandra Andrew says we're here. Janice.
Yay! Thank you, everybody. So, light coat of water. Most of you guys already know that. And then, what we're going to do is we're going to start painting the background blue. So, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of outline the lady with the blue paint, and we're going to use this, but I don't want it to be wet, so I'm waiting just a little bit. If your canvas is like super wet, you're going to take this blue paper towel and kind of dab it a little bit. Because I want the blue paint to be pretty opaque. You see it's pretty dark in the background. Taking the lid off my paint here. Just a little bit like that. Outlining her first. If you want to change your color of her, dress, or the color of her hair, or the color of the bow in her hair, go right ahead. It is your painting. It's a representation of who you are in the moment. I can't even paint the picture the same way. I really like to say that because I can't, because it's different every time I paint. I could totally stress myself out and try to make it look exactly the same, but then that wouldn't be fun, would it? That wouldn't be fun at all. So I am just putting another little coat here. And really, the colors are better as you let one dry and then you apply another coat. You can let it dry on its own because we're going to work on other parts of the painting and then come back to it. Or if you have a blow dryer, you could dry it pretty fast that way. That's what a lot of artists do when you're trying to hurry through a painting or trying to paint in a timely manner. Or you can take your tray, you can fan it, and then you can put another coat on there. Totally up to you, but it is much better. You get better coverage if you let the first layer dry and then you go behind it and put the second layer, okay? I'm just filling in those few spots, kind of smoothing it out. If your paint's feeling a little sticky, you're just gonna put a little tiny bit of water and smooth it out, okay? So the next color that I'm gonna use is I'm gonna use brown for her skin. Now, the brown that you have might be a little different than what's on the canvas. You kind of have to figure that out for yourself, what shades you want it to be. I'm just gonna go with what I have here. If you want it to look more like the reference photo, be a little bit lighter, you're gonna mix a little bit of white with your brown. So you would put a little bit of brown in your tray, and then you would add a little bit of white. Then you would mix it with the back of your brush and wipe it off with your brush, with your paper towel. Can you get that for me? Oh, never mind. I got one behind me. So I just dropped my brush on the floor, so I'm getting another brush here. So I'm gonna go with the brown that I have, and the way that we always teach to paint side coloring, but with a paintbrush. You're gonna outline it and paint it in. So I'm gonna outline her neck and her arms. And then I'm gonna paint it in. And you're probably thinking, what about the bubble gum and all that good stuff? Well, that's gonna go over this brown. So that's why I wanna get this brown in first so it dries, so that we're ready for that next coat, okay? So if it's a little sticky, not flowing the way you want, you're just gonna add a little bit of water, okay? So we're gonna paint her brown. And I'm gonna find some music. Let's see. Somebody's asking me where we are. They couldn't find us, so I gotta tell them that right now. So you're gonna paint the brown of her shoulders. We're gonna paint her face brown. And then we're gonna use the chalk to add the details. Okay? So let's see here. I hope everybody found me. It's kind of weird today that I was late because I'm never that late. Right? Painting in her skin. And you can make it lighter on the canvas if you want. If you decide that you put this down and you don't want it to be so dark, you can put a little bit of white paint on your paintbrush at this point and make her a little bit lighter. Which I may do. I'm painting fast, but take your time. Remember, you can always watch the replay or watch me on YouTube under Angelique Daniels. I'm just going to put a light color here because I want that to be dry. Sometimes I outline everything first so that you can see, but you can see the lines on it this time. That's why I didn't outline them. You don't want any gaps between the different colors, so later on, you might want to, when we put that second coat of turquoise on there, we're going to make sure that there's no white gaps between. We're going to make sure there's no white gaps between the turquoise and the brown. So some people had a hard time finding us, so I just want to make sure real quick. Everybody good? I feel like doing this tonight, but you guys are talking about me, so I'm just going to drink out of my wine glass. It's been that kind of the last few minutes of us trying to log on. We're kind of rough. Alright, so now I'm doing her face. Outline it, paint it in. You can also use that sponge brush if you want, but it has blue paint on it. So you're going to have to wash it out really good, swish it around in your water. it's gonna get kind of funky, right? So you're gonna get your hands a little dirty. But if you don't like using a small brush for the coverage, go ahead and do that. Where is my sponge brush? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. So I don't want to swish that around in my water and squeeze it out and all that. So I'm just going to use the brown for right now on my little brush and enjoy the experience. Again, if it's a little sticky, or even if you want to lighten it up a little bit, you can just put a little bit of water and make that paint go even further. And because of the white of the canvas, of course, it's going to make her lighter in the face. And if you're wondering how to smooth it out, a little bit of water will help as well, okay? How we doing? Everybody good? Let me know. I can't wait to see your paintings. That's my favorite part. Birthday parties. If you want to do something with your friends, just hit me up. And we do it on Zoom privately. I have another one tomorrow I'm so excited about. Alright, so I have her all covered there. I'm going to take the very tip of my paintbrush and kind of smooth out the lines a little bit. I don't want any lines between the brown and the blue, so I'm going to go over my blue a little bit. I'm going to switch my brown paintbrush around in the water. The brown off my brush, that's how you change colors. You switch it around, then you wipe it off on your paper towel, and then I'm going to go into my blue, because I don't want these gaps in between her skin and the blue, okay? I'm going to fill those in. The background is dry by now, that first coat. So if you wanted to put a second coat on there, you can do that. And you'll see when you put that second coat on, that all those little streaks that you had are going to go away. Maybe you want to do something different? Go for it. So I take you 90% of the painting, about an hour, and then I'd encourage you to work another hour or maybe even more, finishing it up. Enjoying your wine, enjoying your music, enjoying the experience of painting. And if I'm going too fast, you can always watch the replay, right? Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, I'm trying to watch the comments, make sure I'm not going too fast. The next thing that we're going to do is the black. So we're going to paint the black of her dress, and then we're going to do her hair. The very last thing that we're going to do is the white, okay? So we're going to do her hair, then we're going to do the bow, then we're going to do the bubble gum, okay? I'm looking at her face right now, and I want to make it a little bit more even. So I'm actually going to put a little bit of water on my paintbrush and just kind of smooth it out just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going into my black paint now. Going to outline her dress and then fill it in, and then I'm going to do her hair. Let's see. I'm trying not to play music that they're going to take my video down, so yeah, I just have a few. It's not quite as fun as y'all know how I like my music, right? But, I can work with it. So, black is next, okay? So next week we are painting Glam Squad. That's another fun painting too. I'm having such a good time with this. I hope you guys are having fun. Let's see. Are you having fun, Liza? I should make you paint. No?
I don't know about all that.
No? Alright. I'm waiting for people to catch up too, so. Okay. Little tiny black paint, outlining first, making sure I'm connecting with the brown because I don't want any gaps, I don't want any white coming through there. Black is very powerful color. I'm taking the tip of my paintbrush to make sure my lines are smooth. Again, if you want to paint in some other colors, if you want to make polka dots on it instead of the polka dots on the scarf, or if you want to do something different, I'd like to encourage you to do that, okay? Try to make sure her boobs are even. That'd look kind of weird if it wasn't. I'm painting sideways, so it's kind of hard to tell, but you do want the boobs to be even. And that center point that's in there is your guide, right? So I am filling that in, and then I'm going to go on to the hair. Now the black, you don't need to have that many coats on there, because one coat goes a long way. Everybody's pretty quiet, huh, Marty?
Yeah.
Make sure the boobs are even. Okay? The hair. I'm outlining the sections around the bow, filling them in. You change the shape of her hair, of course, to make it a fro. You can make it afro puff. Y'all know I love some afro puffs, right? Now this area is really big. I'm going to outline it first with the tip of my brush. And I think I'm going to use my sponge brush because it's going to take me all day to cover all this space. I'm using the tip of my paintbrush to outline all that. And then all this is going to be black. Okay, so I'm going to take my sponge brush that has blue on it. I'm going to squish it around in my water. My water's going to get really yucky, but my hands are going to get even yuckier because I'm going to squeeze the blue out of that paintbrush, squish it around again, squeeze the blue out of that paintbrush, wipe it off on my very absorbent paper towel. Go into my black paint because I don't want it to take all day painting this area. If you don't mind, then go ahead and use that smaller brush. But for the sake of time in this demonstration, I'm using the big one. Using the tip of my paintbrush as I get towards the end. And I can go back and use that smaller brush for the detail work. Because it's kind of hard to control this big brush. And I want you to be able to see some texture in her hair. So I'm just going to fill in like the large areas. And then I'm going to go back to the small paintbrush. And I don't want any white between that turquoise. So I'm going to have to make her hair kind of bigger in some spots. Because I don't want the white showing through. Okay? Let's see. Taking my smaller brush here, going around the bow. And notice I'm taking a long time. I want her face to dry there. I want that bubblegum place to dry. So I'm filling in her hair. course you can change the hair. Of course you can. Also, I want her face to dry because you have a piece of chalk in your kit to do her eye. Alright, so done with the black. I'm going to swish my brush around in the water. Actually, before I swish my brush around, I'm going to outline.
Vanessa says we missed it again.
Oh no! You can always still get the kit and paint later at your convenience. You can find us on YouTube or come back to my Facebook page. I even made a special Facebook page. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's called Angelique Paint. It just has all the videos, so you don't have to go back and forth scrolling through my Facebook page. I'm not sure if I like the cocoa. It's kind of bitter on the finish. Okay, so where am I at now? What are we doing next, Liza? Oh, there's more here to do. I can't take the black off my paintbrush. I have to freehand her hair. Now, there's two ways we have black on our paintbrush, right? We're doing the hair. So, we have to use the chalk, and you can kind of chalk out like how you want her hair to go. Or you can just freehand it with your paintbrush. I'm just going to kind of draw a line here because that's how far I want her hair to come down on one side. And then I'm just going to draw like another little line on the other side. Just kind of give me a guide for how long I want her hair to go. So I'm going to take the very tip of my paintbrush in the black paint and use your reference photo to kind of guide you. I'm just using the tip of my paintbrush. And those lines that you see in her hair are really white paint that make it look like her hair is like it's all different strands. So I'm going to paint it in black. And then I'm going to use the tip of my paintbrush and kind of add a few little lines coming down. Few little strands of hair coming down. Okay? So that's using the very tip of my paintbrush to make it look like strands of hair. Tip of my paintbrush. All right, and we're going to add a little white paint in there too to give us the effect of the hair. And then the hair kind of comes down on the sides a little bit. Our earring's going to be there and our earring's going to be there. All right? Y'all with me? Okay, so painting and the bow on her hair. Doing red right now. My favorite's pretty bright red. I'm going to do the circle first. I'm going to do the bow. It's going to dry a little bit. I have a little black on my paintbrush. I'm going to swish my paintbrush out just a little bit more and go back into the red. I can't wait to see your pictures, your paintings. How we doing? Everybody's quiet. Always like that. A little bit of black on my paintbrush, so my red's not coming out as bright as I wanted it to be. Had to wash it off a little bit. But did you notice there's bands that come down from this bow that aren't drawn in for you? Because I just noticed that there are. We're gonna work with that. We're gonna work with that. her hair. Because we have black down there right now, I'm going to take, and that black should be dry right now. I'm going to take my white paint, and I'm going to put the bands in for her hair because I want to paint, I'm going to have to paint over it red. So wherever you want those bands to be, which should be on the curve of her face, I'm going to put a little white paint there, and then I'm going to paint over it red. Now, ideally, I would have painted that red first, but, you know, not a big deal. And because I have white on my paintbrush right now, I'm going to take the tip of my paintbrush, and I'm going to do her earrings. And they're just a little dot, and try to make them even. I don't know if mine are even because I'm painting on the side here. I hope they're even. Ooh, I'm hoping they are. All right. I hope you guys are painting with me. I hope I'm not going too fast. Now, the reason I put that white down is because I forgot to paint the red band. So I'm putting the white down first. I'm going to let it dry a bit, and then I'm going to paint over it with red, okay? I'm going to give you a few minutes in case I'm going a little too fast, making sure that everybody finally found us, and they did, thank goodness. How we doing? How we doing? Let's see. I feel like everybody's quiet tonight, Liza. Is it me? Or is it's always like this?
Nah, it's a little quiet.
It's a little quiet? I know. Plus, I don't have all my fancy music either, so, which is okay, but I'm just saying. That's why we're going to have to move. I keep saying that every week, and then I don't want to move. I just want to stay here. Okay, so, what am I doing now? I'm wondering how we're going to do the eyes. Now, this is only the second time that I've done this painting before, and people had a really hard time with the eyes. So, this time, that's why I put chalk in it this time. So, the easiest way I think to do the eyes is we're going to separate the face. And the best way to do that is to kind of draw a line down the middle of her face, and then draw a line horizontally in the middle of her face, through her face, so that we can place the eyes evenly, okay? So, half of the eye, half of the oval, it's kind of like an almond shape. It's going to go on the top of the line, and then the other half of the almond shape is going to go at the bottom of the line. And I hope that makes sense. The other eye is kind of at an angle, and it's closed. So you might have to bring her hair down a little bit more if it looks kind of weird to you. And then the bubble for her face is going to be kind of in the middle where her nose would have been. And it's going to take up her entire neck. You are not going to see her neck at all. This is the trickiest part of the painting. Okay? Try to make sure your circle's pretty symmetrical. And we can work with that as we paint. Okay? So, how we doing? How we doing? I'm going to go back right now over that white and finish the red band on her, in her hair, because I forgot to put it in. And that's what happens on Facebook Live. Sometimes you make mistakes, like me dropping my paintbrush earlier, and I don't like that brush. It's not a new brush.
There's one on the table.
No, that's a little one for the eyes. So I'm going over this white and red. Might have to put a couple coats on there, but so far I'm okay with it. So how are we gonna make that bubble gum? How are we gonna get pink? Anyone? Anyone? Liza?
Red.
It's more like white and red because it's a little tiny bit of red because that's a really light pink that we're going for. Okay? So if you were fortunate enough not to make that mistake, your red band probably looks a lot better than mine. I'm just going to have to go over it a couple times, which I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. So another red on there. And you know, you might be looking at your painting right now and thinking, ugh, I don't like it. It's all going to come together. It's a process. You have to work on a little bit at a time. And you apply another coat, you look at it with your artist's eye, you go back to it, you fix up her hair a little bit, you straighten up her boobs, you put a few highlights on it, and it all comes together. You can't paint this painting in just like an hour. You really can't. You need like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. It is a journey, it's an experience, right? So, okay, so now I am going to paint, since I have a little bit of red on my brush, I'm going to paint the bubble gum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a glob of white paint and a little tiny bit of red. Lifting it with my paintbrush. And it was just a tiny bit and it's still too red. But it's okay because I can lighten it up on the canvas. So that brown should be dry now. That's why we do things in a certain order. And then I'm going to paint the circle now. Hopefully you chalked it out first. But if you didn't, that's okay. You can just trust yourself to make a circle. I'm going back into my white paint because it's a little too pink for me. And that's the great thing about acrylic paints. You can layer right over them. So that brown is dry. It's not mixing in with my bubble gum. And now I'm using more paint. I'm on more white paint. I'm not using any more of the red because there was too much red in mine. So when I'm going back in to paint, I'm going back just into white paint. Okay. Critical part of the painting, that the bubble gum is round. I don't think you can really get around that when you're doing like from the creative standpoint. You want to make sure that it's round, okay? You can make it a little bigger. But you really want to make sure it's round. And I'm curving my brush as I'm painting. I'm going up and down, and then I'm curving it. And I'm going to put a few highlights on there to kind of bring it out just a little bit more, okay, as we go along. So I am not happy with the bow in her hair, so I'm going to put another coat of red on there. I'm going to wait while you catch up, and then we're going to work on her eyes, which that is a challenging part, okay? A little bit of wine. Always makes your painting look better. Add some wine. Put that another coat of red for me. If you want to brighten the red up, you can put a little tiny bit of white in your red. But I had black on my paintbrush when I did that red, and that's why mine looks so dark. Paint Party 101. The objective is to have a good time, so I hope you're having a good time. I'm going to play around with her hair just a little bit more. I'm going to bring her hair down look at yours with your artist eye and see what you'd like to change. Using the tip of my paintbrush to create the hair effect. The white paint layer is going to kind of help us with that too. Okay? Then I'm going to take that little tiny paintbrush that you got, and I'm going to go over the outlines that I did for her eye. I'm going to do the outside of her eye. So make sure you have your chalk, the chalk lines, the way that you want them. And you're just going to go over those to create. And it takes a steady hand. I'm using a tiny paintbrush with a little tiny bit of black paint, okay? I'm going to fill in her eye with white, and I need that white to dry before I do the other part of her eye. I'm going to give you folks a moment. Any comments, Liza? Everybody cool?
Yeah.
So far, so good?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that. A little bit of white on my paintbrush. Fill it in the eye. Eyes are hard, so I have to work on the eye just a little bit. She does have an eyebrow on there. And since I have white on my paintbrush, I'm going to put a few highlights on her boobies there. I'm going to put some highlights on the bubble gum. And if you're looking, of course, you know I love to do the polka dot thing. You can use the back of your paintbrush, dip it in your white paint, do the polka dots, or you can use them with just the corner of your paintbrush. If you don't want to get the back all yucky, because you get the back of your paintbrush all yucky, then you get your hands all yucky. I don't know, some people don't like to do all that, and you can do the dots with just the corner of your paintbrush, but you also, I forgot, you have that little tiny paintbrush. You can also use that to make your polka dots. So I'm using just the corner of my paintbrush. I'm putting little dots here and there. Some highlights. I'm even going to put some highlights in the hair, if your hair is dry. The eye's looking scary, isn't it? You gotta play around with it. It takes a while. So, especially when I'm doing it sideways here. So I'm gonna work on the eye. I'm taking my little tiny paintbrush and I'm gonna use my reference photo and I'm gonna work on the eye, okay? All I gotta do, I'm gonna put some lashes, I'm gonna put her eyebrow on there, and then I'm gonna put a little circle in the middle, of course, for her pupil. So the best thing to do, like I said, is take a look at your reference photo and really look at the shape of the eye, okay? If you don't like it, you can always wipe it out and start over. That's the great thing about acrylic paints. They dry fast and they're easy to correct. One of the great things. let it dry. White it out. Then go over to brown. Make sure the bubble's straight. I got chalk lines all on her face right here. I'm gonna wipe them off tomorrow when the painting is cured and very dry. This painting I would say is about, I don't know, I'd work on this painting for another hour, but I want to get the hair right, the eye right. Taste a little bit. Alright? So don't rush her. Take a little bit of time. Go over her hair. Put some highlights in there. And the outside of her hair, there's a few highlights of white. The polka dots. Switch it up. If there's something that you don't like, change it. Her face. If you don't like her face or the way you did her eyes, take a moment. Let it dry. Go over to white. Chalk it out. Start it again. It takes a little while. You would really have to use your artist eye and work on it a little bit, okay? So I hope you all had a good time. I'm sorry I was a little late today. It was crazy getting started. We had a few technical difficulties, but it's been a crazy week altogether, hasn't it? So in the meantime, you all be safe. I hope that you will join me next week for the glam squad. The glam squad are the three ladies. Let me see if I have it here. Do I have it here? Do I have it here? Nope, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. This is next Saturday's painting right here. I love this one. It's pretty fun. Those brush strokes that we do in the dress, they look a little difficult, but they're really not. $15 is my quarantine special. I'm going to do it until the whole city is open and we're doing normal business, okay? You can follow me on my YouTube channel, Angelique Paints. You can follow me on Facebook under my name, Angelique Daniels, in the Angelique Paints group. That's new. You might want to check that out. I think that's it. Anything else, Liza? No? You want to say bye to the people? Bye, everybody. Make sure you post your pictures. I want to see them. Thank you.